The outcast's secret. The night was cold and the colony streets were silent. Far away from the bright houses of humans in the broken part of the town, an alien sat alone. His skin carried the marks of his people, but his eyes carried loneliness. He was an outcast. His kind had thrown him away and the humans feared him. He had no family, no home, no one who would call his name. Every night he searched for food in the dark corners where no one would see him. He survived on scraps hidden from human soldiers who would kill him if they found him. The alien knew only one thing: he must stay invisible. But this night was different. As he rested under a half-broken wall, he felt something watching him. Slowly he raised his head. Two small shadows stood a few feet away. At first he thought they were ghosts, but then he saw the faint outline of little girls. They were twins, both with long hair falling over their shoulders. Their eyes were strange, too bright, too knowing for children. The alien stayed silent. He wanted them to go away. No human children ever came here, not at night. But the twins didn't run. Instead, they stepped closer. Their voices were soft, but their words froze him. "You need a home," one said. "And we need a bride for our father," the other added. The alien blinked in shock. A home? A bride? What were these children talking about? He stood slowly, his tall figure casting a shadow over the two girls. Why are you here?" he asked, his voice rough from days of silence. The twins only smiled. "Because you are the one," they said together as if they shared the same mind. The outcast felt his chest tighten. He had been hunted, hated, and rejected. No one had ever told him he was the one. He wanted to believe them. But something about their calm faces frightened him more than the darkness around them. The girls moved closer again, their small hands reaching for his. Their skin felt colder than human skin should. The alien pulled back for a moment, but the twins gripped him firmly. "You must come with us," said the first girl. "Our father is waiting," whispered the second. The alien shook his head. "No, I don't know you. I don't know your father." The twins tilted their heads in perfect unison, their smiles fading into something serious. "If you stay here, you will die. The soldiers will find you soon, but if you come with us, you will live." The outcast's heart beat faster. How did they know about the soldiers? Were they spies, or something worse? The twins pulled him gently, their voices calm but commanding. "Do not be afraid. We will show you the way." The alien looked around. The night was silent, but he thought he heard faint footsteps in the distance. Perhaps the twins were right. Perhaps soldiers were already searching. He had no choice. His empty stomach ached, his body was weak, and these strange children offered something no one had ever offered him before: shelter. Slowly, he nodded. "I will follow, but only to see." The girls exchanged a quick smile as if they had expected his answer all along. Without another word, they turned and walked toward the shadows beyond the broken street. Their steps made no sound. The alien followed, his senses sharp. Every turn they took led deeper into the forgotten parts of the colony, into ruins no human dared to enter. The air grew colder, the silence heavier. He wanted to ask where they were going, but each time he opened his mouth, the twins spoke first. "Not far now," one would say. "He is waiting for you," the other whispered. Finally, they stopped in front of a wide crack in the ground, a place where the earth itself had split. A faint light glowed inside. The alien hesitated, staring into the darkness below. The twins turned back to him. Their eyes glowed softly, reflecting the strange light. Together they spoke again. "Come, tonight your life will change forever." The alien's hands trembled. Something deep inside told him that once he stepped into that darkness, there would be no return. But he was tired of running, tired of being nothing. He looked at the twins one more time. Their faces were calm, but their words still echoed in his mind. "You need a home, and we need a bride for our father." Taking a deep breath, the outcast stepped forward. The twins gripped his hands tighter and led him into the crack beneath the earth. Behind him, the night grew silent again. Above him, the stars kept their secrets, and ahead of him waited something he could not yet imagine. The twins' hidden world. The air grew colder as the outcast followed the twins down the narrow crack in the earth. The light that glowed inside was not fire, not lamps, not anything he had seen before. It pulsed softly like a living thing. The alien paused, his senses sharp. Every instinct told him to turn back. But the twins walked without fear. their small hands pulling him deeper into the underground world. The tunnel was silent, but not empty. Strange carvings lined the stone walls, symbols etched long ago, glowing faintly with the same strange light. The outcast's eyes widened. He knew these markings. They belonged to his people, but how? His kind had abandoned him. They had cast him out. Yet here, in the heart of human land, their forgotten words lived. The twins noticed his gaze. One of them smiled. "You can read them, can't you?" The outcast hesitated. "These words are forbidden, even among my people." The other twin leaned close. "Not forbidden here. Here they are alive," their words chilled him. He tried to focus on the path instead, but the symbols pulled at him, whispering memories he thought he had buried. Step by step, they moved deeper. The air grew heavy, filled with dust and echoes of things unseen. Strange machines, broken and half-buried, lay in the walls like skeletons of a forgotten age. Rusted gears, shattered screens, and metal bones stretched out into the darkness. "What is this place?" the outcast finally asked. "Our home," one twin answered. "Our secret," the other added. The alien frowned. "No human lives here. No alien would dare come here. This place is cursed," the twins stopped. Slowly, they turned to face him. Their faces were calm, their voices steady. "It is not cursed. It is chosen. Only some can walk here. Only some can see." Before the alien could reply, the ground trembled slightly. A deep sound echoed through the chamber, like a distant heartbeat. The twins gripped his hands tighter, pulling him forward. "Don't stop," they whispered. "He is waiting." The outcast's heart pounded. Who was waiting, and why had they chosen him? He wanted to ask again, but his throat felt dry. The deeper they went, the more he felt eyes watching him from the dark corners of the ruins. Shadows shifted when he turned his head. Shapes that weren't human yet weren't fully alien seemed to move at the edge of his sight. Finally, the tunnel widened. They stepped into a great chamber beneath the earth. The ceiling rose high above, cracked open in places where faint moonlight spilled through. In the center of the chamber, a river of glowing water flowed, casting pale light on the walls. The alien froze. On the walls around the chamber, hundreds of symbols burned brighter than before. They told a story of exile, of war, of a family broken. The twins released his hands. They ran to the glowing river, their voices echoing softly. "This is where he lives. This is where he waits." The outcast remained near the tunnel's edge, scanning the chamber carefully. The air was heavy, almost sacred. He could feel a presence nearby, something vast and powerful, yet hidden. "You still have not told me who your father is," the outcast said firmly. The twins turned, their eyes reflecting the strange glow of the river. "You will see soon. But first you must understand why we brought you." The alien narrowed his eyes. "Tell me." The twins stepped closer, their voices lowering. "Because you are like us, not human, not welcome. You are lost, but not useless." The outcast's chest tightened. Their words cut deep. He wanted to deny it, but they were right. He was lost. He was unwanted. Yet these children looked at him as if he mattered. "Your blood," one whispered. "Your exile," the other added. "They make you perfect." The alien shivered. "Perfect for what?" Before he could ask, the ground trembled again. This time louder. The glowing river rippled as if disturbed by something beneath it. A shadow moved in the water, rising slowly. The twins looked at him, their faces calm, almost proud. "He comes." The outcast stepped back, his hand reaching instinctively for the weapon strapped at his side. His breathing quickened as the shadow grew larger, breaking the surface of the glowing water. At first he saw only the outline, a tall figure, broad and scarred. Then the light caught his face. The alien froze. It was a face like his own, not human, not fully alien. Something between, the twins smiled. "Our father." The figure rose fully from the glowing river, his eyes burning like coals in the pale light. His voice rolled across the chamber, deep and commanding. "You brought him," the figure said. The twins nodded in unison. "Yes, father. We found him. The one who can stay." The outcast's blood turned cold. He had been led into a place of secrets, a place that should not exist. And now, standing before him was the one who ruled it all, the father the twins had promised. The father's eyes fixed on him, sharp and unblinking. "So," he said slowly, "you are the outcast." Meeting the father. The glowing river stilled, and silence filled the underground chamber. The outcast stood frozen, staring at the figure who had risen from the light. The father's body was tall and broad, scarred by battles long past. His skin carried the same marks as the outcast's, but deeper, older, carved with stories of war. His eyes glowed like embers, watching every move with the weight of judgment. The outcast swallowed hard. He had seen warriors before, but never one who radiated such power. This man, this father, was not only strong, he was something more, something dangerous. The twins moved close to their father, standing at each side of him like guardians. Their small hands rested against his arms as if his presence gave them strength. They lifted their chins proudly. "Father," said one. "We found him," said the other. The father's gaze did not shift. His eyes locked on the outcast, unblinking, searching. Finally he spoke, his voice deep as thunder. "You walk where you should not walk. You breathe where others wish you dead. Tell me, outcast, why should I not end you here?" The words cut through the chamber like a blade. The outcast stiffened, his hand brushing the weapon at his side, though he knew it would be useless. One strike from this warrior and he would fall. He straightened his back and forced his voice to remain steady. "I did not come here by choice. Your daughters brought me." The father's eyes flicked to the twins for only a moment. They nodded quickly. "He is the one," they said together. The father returned his gaze to the alien. His expression did not change, but his silence was heavy, pressing down like stone. Finally he stepped forward, the ground trembling faintly beneath his weight. His shadow stretched across the chamber, swallowing the outcast in darkness. "My daughters speak with voices I trust," the father said, "but I trust no stranger. You were cast away from your kind. You are hated by the humans. Tell me why." The outcast's chest tightened. The question was simple, but the answer carried scars. He lowered his eyes for a moment before speaking. "Because I am different. My blood does not run pure. My kind saw me as weakness. The humans see me as threat. To them I am neither one thing nor the other. So they cast me out. I survive only in shadows." The chamber echoed with silence. The father studied him carefully, his eyes narrowing as if weighing every word. Then, to the outcast's surprise, the father nodded slowly. "You speak truth. I see it in your scars. You are broken, but not useless." The outcast lifted his head, meeting the father's gaze. "Then why bring me here? What do you want from me?" The father's lips curved into the faintest shadow of a smile, though it held no warmth. "Want? No, this is not want. This is need." The twins stepped forward, their voices soft, but their words chilling. "You need a home," whispered one. "And we need a bride for our father." The other finished. The outcast stiffened, his heart hammering in his chest. The words he had heard earlier now returned, sharper, clearer. "A bride for their father?" His throat felt dry. He took a step back. "I do not understand. I am no bride. I am no savior." The father's eyes burned brighter. He raised a scarred hand and pointed toward the river of light. The glowing water rippled as if alive. Symbols carved on the walls flared brighter, filling the chamber with strange energy. "You were brought here for a purpose," the father said. "My daughters have chosen, and I too have seen the signs. If you wish for shelter, if you wish for a place where no soldier hunts you, then you must stay. And to stay, you must take the vow." The outcast clenched his fist. His voice shook with anger. "What vow?" The father's voice lowered, heavy as stone. "To bind yourself to this family, to protect it, to carry its blood forward. Without the vow you cannot stay. Without the vow you will die." The words struck like thunder. The chamber seemed to grow smaller, the glowing walls pressing closer. The outcast felt trapped. He had searched for nothing more than food, shelter, survival. And now, before him stood a choice that carried far more weight. The twins stepped closer, their small hands reaching for his again. Their eyes glowed in the pale light, reflecting both innocence and something older, something that did not belong to children. "Stay," whispered one. "Live," whispered the other. The outcast's chest tightened. He wanted to run, to escape this strange family and their impossible demand. But deep inside, a voice whispered a cruel truth. Where else could he go? His people had cast him out. The humans hunted him. Alone he was nothing. Here at least there was shelter. The father's voice echoed once more, firm and final. "Decide before the night ends. Take the vow, or be buried with the dead." The chamber fell silent. The twins waited, their eyes unblinking. The father stood tall, a shadow of power and scars, and the outcast, alone, unwanted, cornered, faced the heaviest choice of his life. Cliffhanger end for Part 3. The outcast is given a deadly ultimatum. Take the vow and become part of the strange family, or die alone in the shadows. But what does the vow truly mean? And why do the twins believe only he can fulfill it? The strange proposal. The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the glowing river. The symbols on the walls burned brighter, throwing shifting light across the father's scarred face. The outcast stood rigid, his chest rising and falling with uneasy breaths. The father's ultimatum echoed in his ears. Take the vow, or be buried with the dead. The twins moved closer to him, their small fingers curling around his arms. Their touch was cold, but their smiles carried strange warmth. They looked up at him with eyes that seemed far too ancient for children. You will not be alone anymore, whispered one. You will belong, whispered the other. The words tugged at him. Belonging. It was the one thing he had never known. Cast away by his people, hunted by humans, he had lived with no name, no place, no future. And now, this family, strange as it was, offered him shelter. But the price? He turned his gaze back to the father. You say I must take a vow. But what is this vow? Speak clearly. The father stepped forward, each movement heavy and deliberate. His voice was low, but it carried through the chamber like thunder. The vow is simple. You will stay. You will guard this home as your own. You will bind yourself to us forever, and when the time comes you will take the role that has been waiting for you. The outcast frowned. Role? What role? The father's eyes glowed brighter. You will be my bride. The word struck him like a blow. The chamber spun in his vision. His knees nearly gave way, but he forced himself to stand tall. Bride? He rasped. You asked me to join us, the father interrupted. To carry our family forward. My daughters chose you. The signs chose you, and I will not argue with fate. The outcast's chest tightened with fury. I am no bride. I am no pawn for your strange games. I came here for shelter, not chains. The father's eyes narrowed. His scarred hand clenched into a fist, and the chamber seemed to darken with his rage. Chains? No, the vow is not chains. It is survival. Without it, you will not last another day. Outside these walls, soldiers hunt you. Outside this chamber, your blood is cursed. Here, only here, can you live, but only if you are one of us. The twins pressed closer, their soft voices weaving into his thoughts. Father does not lie, said one. He protects us. He will protect you, said the other. The outcast tried to pull away, but their grip was firm, almost unbreakable despite their size. He looked at their pale faces and saw no fear, no doubt. To them, this was not madness. This was destiny. His heart raced. He had faced death many times, but this was different. This was not the choice between life and death. This was the choice between freedom and belonging, between being no one and becoming something he did not understand. The father stepped closer, towering over him. His voice dropped lower, softer, but no less terrifying. Do not think this is about want. It is about need. My daughters will not survive without you. Our bloodline will not survive without you. And you will not survive without us. The outcast clenched his fists. Why me? Why not another? Why not someone of your kind? The father's eyes burned. Because you are broken, and only the broken can carry what is cursed. The chamber grew colder. The glowing river rippled as if agreeing with the father's words. The symbols on the walls shifted faintly, their shapes twisting into something new, something like a vow etched in stone. The outcast's mind raced. He wanted to refuse. He wanted to run back through the tunnels and vanish into the night. But even as he thought it, he knew the truth. He had nowhere else to go. Alone he would die. Here he might live. The twins leaned their heads against his arms. Their voices were almost gentle now. Say yes, whispered one. Take the vow, whispered the other. The father extended his scarred hand toward him, palm open, waiting. Choose, he said. Before the night ends, the outcast's body shook. His mouth was dry. His mind screamed at him to fight, to escape, to refuse. But his heart longed for shelter, for belonging, for an end to the endless loneliness. His eyes flicked to the glowing water, to the ancient symbols, to the twins who held him as if they already owned him. And finally back to the father, whose hand still waited. The chamber seemed to hold its breath. The vow hung in the air like a blade over his neck. The outcast took a slow step forward. His trembling hand lifted inch by inch toward the father's waiting palm. But just before his fingers touched, a sound echoed through the chamber, a horn, distant, sharp, unmistakable. The father's eyes darkened. The twins gasped. The outcast froze. The horn sounded again, closer this time. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The father's voice dropped into a growl. "They have found us." Secrets of the past. The horn echoed through the chamber a third time, long and sharp, shaking the stone walls. Dust fell from the ceiling and the glowing river rippled violently. The outcast pulled his hand back, his heart pounding. The vow had been interrupted but not broken. The father's face hardened, every scar on his body glowing faintly in the light. His deep voice rolled through the chamber. "They are coming. The hunters." The twins pressed close to the outcast, their voices trembling but still united. "They always come. They will never stop." The outcast turned sharply toward them. "Who are they? Why are they chasing you?" The father moved to the edge of the chamber, his eyes scanning the tunnel where the sound had first echoed. "Because of what we are. Because of what we carry." The outcast frowned. "What do you mean?" The twins exchanged a glance. Then, for the first time since he had met them, their smiles faded completely. They looked sad. "Our mother was human," whispered one. "And she betrayed us," whispered the other. The outcast froze. "A human mother?" His eyes darted to the father. The scars, the strength, the alien marks were clear, but if what the twins said was true, then— "You are half human," he said slowly. The twins nodded. Their voices were soft but sharp with pain. "Our mother was meant to love us. She was meant to love, Father. But she chose the humans instead. She told them where we lived. She gave them our names." The outcast's chest tightened. Betrayal was a wound he knew well. The father's voice thundered again. "The humans fear what they do not understand. They feared my daughter's blood. They feared our family. So they hunted us. And when their machines and weapons could not kill us, they cursed us instead." The outcast's eyes widened. "Cursed?" The father nodded grimly. "Their betrayal twisted our blood. My daughters cannot live long without a bond. Our line will die unless the curse is broken. That is why the vow must be taken." The outcast staggered back, his mind reeling. "And you believe I can break it? Why me?" The twins stepped closer, their eyes glowing faintly with the light of the river. "Because you are like us," said one. "Not human, not alien, broken, but not useless," said the other. Their words struck him deeply. He had lived his entire life as a mistake, unwanted by both worlds. Now, suddenly, that same brokenness was the reason they needed him. The horn blared again, louder now. The ground shook, and the tunnels roared with the sound of boots, metal, and voices. The hunters were drawing near. The father turned sharply to the outcast, his voice sharp as steel. "There is no more time. You have heard the truth. You know why we are hunted. Decide now, fight with us or die with them." The outcast's hands trembled. His mind raced. Fight? With this family he barely knew? With children who spoke like prophets? With a father who demanded vows instead of trust? Yet even as doubt filled him, another thought rose. If the hunters found him outside this chamber, they would kill him without hesitation. He was already their enemy. The humans hated him as much as they hated the twins. The outcast clenched his fists. "If I fight, I want answers. All of them. No more secrets." The father's scarred face softened just enough to show approval. "Fight with us and you will have your answers. Refuse, and you will not live to ask again." The twins pulled at his arms. Their voices rose in urgency. "Stay with us. Protect us. Only you can." The outcast took a long breath. The sound of approaching hunters filled the tunnels. Their lights flickered faintly in the distance. He turned to the father and gave a sharp nod. "Then give me a weapon." The father's lips curved into a grim smile. From the shadows near the river, he pulled a long blade unlike any the outcast had seen. It glowed faintly with the same strange energy that ran through the symbols on the walls. He thrust it toward the outcast. "Take it. It was forged for one who stands between worlds. For one who is neither and both." The outcast gripped the weapon. The moment his hands touched the hilt, the symbols on the chamber walls blazed brighter. The glowing river surged, sending ripples of light across the stone. The twins gasped softly. "He is the one," they whispered. The father's voice thundered again, strong and fierce. Then fight, outcast. Tonight you are no longer prey. Tonight you stand with us. The tunnels filled with the roar of hunters' voices. The sound of metal boots thundered closer. The first beams of light cut through the shadows. The outcast tightened his grip on the glowing blade. For the first time in his life, he did not feel invisible. He did not feel weak. He felt chosen. The twins clung to him, their eyes shining with trust. The father raised his own weapon, his scarred body ready for war. The hunters were almost upon them. The outcast drew a sharp breath. The vow was not yet spoken, but in that moment he had made his choice. He would fight. The choice in fire. The tunnel shook as the hunters stormed closer. Their shouts echoed like thunder, metal boots striking stone in heavy rhythm. The glow of their weapons painted the walls in red and silver. The outcast stood at the chamber's edge, gripping the strange blade the father had given him. Its glow pulsed with every beat of his heart as if alive. He swallowed hard, fear twisting his chest, but he did not step back. The twins clung to him, their small hands trembling but their eyes shining. "Don't leave us," one whispered. "You can't," said the other. The father stood tall before them, his own weapon gleaming. His voice was steady, thunder in the storm. "They will come in waves. Do not fear the first. Fear the last." The outcast's mouth was dry. He wanted to ask what that meant, but there was no time. The first hunters burst into the chamber. Their armor shone silver marked with human symbols. Their faces were hard, eyes burning with hatred. They raised their weapons as one. "Kill them all," shouted the leader. The father moved first, faster than the outcast thought possible. His blade swept through the air, striking the first hunter down with a crack of glowing steel. Sparks filled the air. The twins screamed, covering their ears. The outcast froze. Blood splattered the stone. The smell of iron filled his nose. The hunters turned toward him, weapons raised. Then the blade in his hand grew hot. The glow surged brighter, pulling him forward. Without thinking, he swung. The blade cut through the air like fire. One hunter fell, then another. His arms shook with every strike, but the weapon guided him as if teaching him how to fight. For the first time in his life, the outcast did not run. The twins' voices rang behind him. "Yes, fight. You are the one." The chamber filled with chaos. Hunters poured in from every tunnel, shouting, firing, striking. The father fought like a storm, every movement sharp and brutal. The outcast followed, his glowing blade answering blow after blow. But the hunters were endless. For every one that fell, two more entered. One hunter broke past them, rushing toward the twins. The outcast spun, his heart seizing in terror. He leapt, slashing across the attacker's chest before the blade could reach the girls. The twins cried out, not in fear this time, but in fierce joy. "He protects us," just as the vow said he would. The father's voice boomed between strikes. "Hold your ground, outcast. This is only the beginning." The outcast's muscles burned. His breath came sharp and ragged. His arms felt heavy, but the blade pulsed brighter with each swing, filling him with strange strength. Then the chamber trembled again, worse than before. The hunters stopped for a moment, their faces flickering with unease. The stone walls groaned. The twins stiffened, their eyes glowing faintly. They spoke together, their voices strange, deeper than before. "The curse wakes. The bond is close," the father shouted over the clash of steel. "Outcast, listen to them. The vow must be spoken before the fire takes us all." "What vow?" the outcast shouted back, slashing through another attacker. "What do I say?" The father's answer was drowned in a roar as the chamber split. Flames burst from cracks in the stone, licking up the walls. The glowing river surged, rising higher, flooding the floor with light. The hunters faltered, some stumbling back. "This place, it's alive!" one cried. The outcast's chest pounded. Fire surrounded them. Hunters closed in again, but fear flickered in their eyes. The twins clutched his arms, their voices urgent. "Say it, speak the vow, or we all burn." The outcast slashed another enemy down, panting. "Tell me what to say." Their eyes locked onto his. In perfect unison, they whispered, "Say you will never leave us. Say you will be our protector. Say you will be our home." The outcast froze. Their words dug deep into him. A vow of forever, a promise that would bind him to them, and to this fire. The father struck down the last of the first wave of hunters, his face sharp with command. "Do it now, outcast, or everything dies." The outcast's mind spun. Could he promise such a thing? Could he tie his life to theirs when he barely understood what they were? He looked at the twins, trembling but brave. Their glowing eyes begged him. Behind them, the hunters rallied, preparing for another wave. The ground shook harder, flames rising taller. The outcast raised his blade high. His voice shook but did not break. "I swear." But before he could finish, the second wave of hunters crashed into the chamber. Explosions lit the air. Fire, smoke, and steel consumed the chamber. The vow hung unfinished. The outcast gritted his teeth, swinging his blade with desperate strength. Every strike kept the hunters from reaching the twins. Every breath pushed him closer to collapse. The father fought beside him, blood running down his arms, but his voice was still thunder. "Speak it, outcast. Even in fire the vow will bind." The twins cried out together, voices sharp with fear. Say it now." The outcast opened his mouth, and the chamber roared with fire, swallowing everything in light. The vow in flame. The chamber was drowning in fire. Flames burst from the walls and ceiling, painting everything in gold and red. Smoke curled around the glowing river, turning the air thick and sharp. The hunters shouted, their armor clanging as they pushed forward through the chaos. The outcast stood in the center, his blade glowing brighter than ever, every strike sending sparks into the storm. His arms ached, his lungs burned, but he did not stop. The twins clung behind him, their glowing eyes fixed on him with desperate trust. The father fought like a beast, his scarred body lit by the fire. Every swing of his weapon tore through enemies, but his steps grew heavier, slower. Blood ran down his side, staining the stone floor. "Speak it, outcast," he roared, his voice like thunder. "The vow, now!" The twins cried out in perfect unison, their voices almost breaking. "Say it. Say you will stay. Say you will be ours." The outcast's heart pounded. He cut down another hunter, his blade blazing through armor and steel. But his mind spun with fear. A vow was not just words, it was forever. If he spoke it, he would never again walk alone. He would belong to them. The hunters surged again. One broke past the father and charged toward the twins. The outcast spun, his blade slicing down in a flash of fire. The attacker fell at their feet and the twins gasped, but their eyes shone brighter, filled with hope. "You protect us," they whispered. "You are the one." The chamber trembled. The flames grew higher, roaring as if alive. The glowing river boiled, spilling over the stone floor. The father shouted above the storm. "The fire is the curse. It will not stop unless the vow is made. Do it or all is lost." The outcast's breath caught. All his life he had been rejected, by humans, by aliens, by every hand he had ever reached for. He had lived as a shadow, unwanted, unseen. And now these twins, this broken family, were asking him to be their home. Another wave of hunters stormed in. Their leader raised a weapon glowing with human power, aiming straight at the twins. "No!" the outcast roared. His blade shot forward, striking the leader down before the weapon could fire. The force of it shook him to his bones. He stood trembling, staring at the children behind him. And then, with fire roaring and hunters screaming, he shouted the words. "I swear I will never leave you. I will be your protector. I will be your home." The chamber exploded with light. The flames did not consume them. Instead, they bent, swirling into a circle of fire around the outcast and the twins. The hunters stumbled back, their faces filled with fear. The glowing river surged upward, wrapping the outcast in streams of light. The twins cried out together, their voices like bells. "The vow is spoken." The father dropped to one knee, his weapon heavy in his hands, his scarred face glowing with relief. "It is done." The outcast felt the power pour into him. The blade in his hands blazed so bright the hunters shielded their eyes. His chest burned, not with pain, but with strength. Strength he had never known. The fire no longer threatened him. It obeyed him. He raised the blade high. The circle of flames burst outward, sweeping across the chamber like a storm. Hunters were thrown to the ground, their weapons shattering, their screams lost in the roar. One by one they fled, stumbling into the tunnels, their courage broken. Silence fell. Only the river glowed, calm again. The outcast stood trembling, the blade still burning in his hand. The twins pressed close to him, their faces glowing with joy. "You did it," they whispered. You are ours now. The father rose slowly, his body weak but his eyes fierce with pride. You have done what no one else could. The vow has bound you. The curse is broken. The outcast stared at him, his chest heavy with the weight of what he had done. Then it's true. I belong to you now. The father nodded. Not just to us. To them, to the bloodline, to the future. The twins held his arms, their voices soft but full of certainty. You are not outcast anymore. You are home. For the first time in his life, the outcast felt the word home mean something real. Not a place, not a roof, but a bond, a family. The fire around them faded into sparks. The glowing river settled, its light dimming but steady. The chamber grew quiet, as if the curse itself had finally gone to sleep. The father leaned on his weapon, his eyes dark with warning. The hunters will return. They will never forgive what you have done, but now you are no longer alone, and together we will not fall. The outcast tightened his grip on the blade, its glow pulsing softly now, like a living heart. He looked at the twins, at their trust, their unshakable faith. He had been a shadow. Now he was fire, and no one, not the hunters, not the curse, not even fate itself, would take that away.